21.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today and get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed. When you place your first $5 bet, that's a free bet back. Your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with the promo code WNSR. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props. You can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. With live betting, you'll get updated odds on games that have already started. Super easy to use. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets. Win or lose with the promo code WNSR. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You must be 21 years of age or older and present here in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued and non-withdrawable. Free bets that expire in 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Listen, you can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off.
Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now on the Cure Hotline at 615-844-5600.
Alrighty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Wednesday afternoon to you. And yes, it is the McFarland Show here on WNSR. Darren and Justin here with you. Ray over there. We're all here together.
We are.
I like this room because it's spread out. And we all have our space.
That's true.
Doesn't feel like we're all, on top of each other. We have the ability, not that anybody out there listening cares, but we have the ability to get up and, stretch our legs a little
We
bit.
can walk around if we felt like it.
Walk around.
We do. Yeah.
Get our steps in.
Absolutely.
We can do that.
Yeah, it's roomy.
It is very roomy.
There's no glass like the traditional. You finally have gotten that out of
I
your
have. You noticed
vocabulary.
I have not said behind the glass.
Behind the glass, because he's not behind the glass. And,
No.
it's okay. We are socially distanced in here.
Socially distanced.
We are.
That's a new term. We were, we
Not anymore, it's not.
We used to say distanced, right, all the time.
Yes,
for
we did.
2+ years.
Yes.
Now we say it a little bit differently and don't say it as much, for sure. And we're all thankful.
Thankfully.
Yes,
Thankfully.
we're all thankful.
We're good.
For that. We've got another loaded show for you. We're excited about it. I was doing my steps yesterday during the show and after the show. When I realized that the Guardians were not going to get it done, I just punted.
Yeah.
And loaded up the car, and me and the kid went to the baseball field, and we had a baseball practice last night. Yes, outdoors.
Yeah.
With 10 and 11-year-olds. And you know what? We made it. We did it. 2 hours. It was the temperature. So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something.
I was going to ask you.
Keep the TV hat
come
on.
on.
Keep the TV hat on, okay?
TV hat on, okay.
Yeah, I know you're not a meteorologist.
Well, good afternoon.
But you're around meteorologists all the time.
Yes.
With your TV hat on.
Yes.
And so, in fact, Ray just got back from the left coast, and it's like you hear, it's hot, but, it's a dry heat. So it's not really that hot. So last night it's in the 40s.
Yeah.
In fact, I went into it going, I expect us to end early. I expect us not to be able to power through and get through this practice. In other words, it's not going to be productive because everybody's going to be freezing. Wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So I get home, and the wife is like, I can't believe you guys did the full practice? I was like, yeah, no problems. She's like, wow. Like I just, because I told her, like, it just, hopefully we can get an hour in. I don't know how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And I said, I just flippantly go, there's such thing as a dry heat, or at least I hear people say that all the time. And we've been out on the West Coast, and it's 107, but it only feels like 91.
Yeah.
I said, maybe there's a dry cold?
There is.
Is there? Okay, that was my question. I go, so maybe that's a dry cold.
Yeah. So if you've ever heard meteorologists say terms like it's too cold to snow, Like, if we were a little warmer, it might snow. What they're driving at is if the air in the atmosphere was a little warmer, it would bring more humidity. And so if the air in the atmosphere was a little warmer, the humidity would come and then it would break open essentially and we would get snow. But typically, especially down here, we don't, lake effect snow. You're from up. Okay.
Hey, that's the reason I moved to the south.
So the lake effect snow essentially
is real.
Well, it's not only real, it's the storm or the front feeding off of the lake and then driving the snow inbound.
And then pounding your
face in. So,
yeah.
But it needs the lake to do it. What does the lake provide? Moisture, humidity. No lake effect snow, you wouldn't have it because you don't have the fuel to feed it at that point. So that's, if that all makes sense to you, about what the dry air versus the warm air does, or dry air versus the humid air does for your temperature. So there is such thing.
I lived by the lake in Cleveland for 1 year.
Lake Erie.
Mm-hmm. 1 year. And I got the hell out of there. Because you can get like 14 inches of snow in 2 hours. And about 8 miles inland, they got an inch.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Because they're away from the lake.
Yeah, it's like, are you serious? Like, we're buried. And they're like, we got an inch or two.
And they're away from the lake.
They're
away from the fueling source, from the source of fuel for the storm. Yeah.
You're 15 minutes from me. Yeah, we got an inch or two.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we got over a foot.
The further away from the lake,
it's amazing.
The drier the air. The drier the air, the less snow you got.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, TV Justin.
You're welcome.
Can put your radio hat on now. So we'll do radio the rest of the way.
Okay, cool.
But that was awesome. Look, in all seriousness, you answered my question. I just flippantly said it.
Well,
but you said, hey, that's legit.
I've been doing this long enough. I think my last morning meteorologist said that he said, I can't give you a full certification in weather. He said, but if there was such thing as a minor in weather, he said, I could easily give you a minor in weather. Not a major, but that 2-year associates, he says, you're in there. You can get the minor in weather at this point.
Yeah. It's like you got sent to the box for 2 minutes. It's just a minor.
Yeah,
penalty.
It's not the major.
It's not a major.
Not the major.
You're not
the
going to
5.
serve 5 minutes.
No.
By the way, look at you throwing out. All right. We're going to get into some hockey. Good. Seems like you're in that mode.
I'm full of questions, so let's do it, please.
Okay,
At any point, let's go.
We're going to do that a little bit later.
That's true. Yeah, we got the writer. Absolutely.
I've
got questions.
Last night was tough. That was tough. By the way, so that's what I did. So I get home, and it's like, okay. And the game, they didn't drop the puck till almost 9 o'clock.
See, but we
was almost
we talked
9
about
o'clock.
this. We talked about this yesterday.
In Nashville.
Yes.
Not in L.A.
Yes. And the NBA has been doing this for years, by the way, where you got games.
The staggering of games for TV
where
purposes.
you got the Knicks tipping off at 9 Eastern. What are you talking about? Why? If you're a little kid in New York, what chance do you have to form memories and bonds if you can't watch your team play? I mean, it just... You're hurting, to me, you're hurting the fan base with some of this.
Well, I will say this.
The West Coast games up, because remember, that was the thing. It used to be.
You have the West Coast
games
the night
started later.
Yeah.
So you do the Knicks and the Celtics.
Right.
They started one time. And then if you were to do a West Coast
Lakers,
game,
Clippers.
that's what the Portland Trailblazers and the LA Lakers and the Golden State Warriors were for.
Yep.
West Coast game. If you just didn't get enough, here's the West Coast game.
Yeah, but I failed to mention yesterday when you brought up about the kid thing.
Yeah.
In Rutherford County, and we've got a lot of listeners in Rutherford County on 107.9, they were out today. So actually kids
it's
from
the
Rutherford,
fall break?
No, it's not fall break.
It's not fall break?
No, fall break's over. Like,
that's
it's
what
just
I thought.
an in-service.
Just an in-service day. Okay, well,
Like in the middle of the week, like, hey, we're off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're off. They're off on a Wednesday?
Yeah.
So
that seems random, but
they're
all right.
They're off.
Okay, no problem.
So kids from Rutherford County could have gone to the game.
They were out there.
They're like,
okay, that works.
Because actually, the reason I know is because we watched the whole game, and he didn't have to go to bed. So I was like, I don't know why. He's like, can I stay out? I was like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you don't have anything to get up to. So
yeah,
sure, that's fine. Let's watch the game.
Wow.
So I failed to mention that yesterday. But we're going to get into all that. Predators, a tough one. They lose in a shootout, a game, quite honestly, they had in control.
Yeah, it's not just losing in the shootout. It's giving up the 3-1 lead.
I always tell people that all wins are not the same. All wins are not created equally. All losses are not created equally.
That is true.
And last night you go, but they got a point. Yeah, but that doesn't feel like
now you had the 2 points.
Sometimes you take the point and you run, right?
You're happy to get it.
That was a gift.
Yeah, happy to get it.
That point was a gift, not last night. Last night feels like a loss. Well, it was a loss, but last night feels like doesn't feel good. It wasn't it wasn't a feel good point.
No.
Other times through the course of the season, we'll talk about it on the show, you get a point and you're like, oh, boy,
we'll take it.
That was Christmas either early or late, right?
Yeah.
Like that was a gift.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Not the case last night, but we'll do that in just a little bit here on the show. Also, by the way, ALCS starts tonight. They get no break.
No.
Yankees suit up. Let's go.
Well, that's what you get for going 5.
That's right. How dare you extend the series all the way to the end?
Hey.
Last night, Phillies, Padres, get it going. Philly.
Got a schedule to keep.
What is going on? How are the Phillies doing this? They win 2-0.
They do. But here's the deal. And my father is the biggest baseball fan I know. I mean, honestly. He loves the Chicago White Sox. He basically grew up in old Comiskey Park. Loves the
So
game.
he's been tortured his entire life.
Well,
for the most part.
It hasn't been, the most winningest baseball ever, but he's gotten to see some stuff. Okay, so he is convinced that the Atlanta Braves last year almost accidentally won the World Series.
Was he at Disco Demolition Night?
You know what? No. I had to stop and think about it. I was like, I never asked him about that. But no, during that time, he wasn't there. He would have been in college during that time.
I think you would have heard that story.
I would have heard that story. But, if you get hot at the right time, and every baseball, just about, not every baseball team, most baseball teams hit a hot streak at some point during the season. You play 162 games, you're going to hit a streak where you win 8 in a row.
Oh, the Dodgers.
Even if your team is not very good.
Remember the Dodgers 2 or 3 years ago? Remember there was a patch in the season. They went like 50-5.
Yes.
It was ridiculous.
Yes.
And, of course, they finished, best record by a mile.
Yeah.
50-5.
Yeah.
They didn't win the World Series. The point is, they didn't win the World Series.
The Braves, what did they win, 16 in a row this year? Yeah. So, if the Braves somehow were able to capture that 16 in a row magic, right about now, they could have ran that all the way to the World Series. And so when you get a team that's just hot, and you have to remember, everybody's getting paid, all right? These aren't scrubs out here. Everybody's got some talent. And one day they show up to the yard and they're clicking on all cylinders. Listen, good luck and God bless stopping them. And that goes for a lot of different sports, but baseball is really that way. You get 2 hot pitchers, really, honestly. Think about it. You get 2 hot pitchers, 1 starter, somebody in the bullpen, and they're just dominant. They're lights out. You can just about win a series with those 2 guys. If those 2 guys are unhittable, you can just about win a series with just those guys. With nobody, even if the rest of your staff it doesn't matter. You got 2 guys who are lights out, and that's it. And so, I don't know if the Phillies are hitting that right now, but it certainly seems that way. Why else would they come out of seemingly nothing?
Nobody was picking this.
You got 3 teams. You got 3 teams out of the East, by the way.
Yeah.
And nobody would have thought the Phillies.
No,
you would have picked the Mets or the Braves any day of the week.
They'd have been 3rd on everybody's list.
And here we are.
Phillies Padres game 2 this afternoon in about an hour and 20 minutes. And where can you watch that?
I have no idea.
Oh, wow.
Fox Sports 1?
Oh, boy.
Fox Sports 1.
Oh, boy.
I think it's Fox Sports 1, right?
My bad. My bad. I shouldn't have asked you on the air.
We're Fox Sports 1.
No.
No? It's not Fox Sports 1?
No, it's on Fox.
We got
Yeah, you got afternoon baseball.
It's the afternoon. Oh, it's
you
the
got
thing.
afternoon baseball.
It's the thing.
See, I told you to put
Listen,
your radio hat on.
Listen, man.
You're no longer a journalist and out in the field
Listen, man.
or in studio with your TV hat on.
I have
the radio hat
I had
on.
a lot going on today. I'm sorry. And they did mention there was no 5:30 newscast. They did mention that.
There
and
you
now
go.
and now we know why. Okay,
Phillies,
so there we
Padres.
are. It's the Phillies Padres this
on
afternoon.
Fox. I tried to set him up, Ray.
They kept switching the
tried to
doggone
set
thing.
him up.
My boss, I'm sorry. Listen.
I know. I feel bad now.
Hey guys.
I hope they weren't listening.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
No, he knew. He knew.
We're gonna keep it, We're going to keep the schedule front of mind now. I'm sorry about that. Yes. So, yes, absolutely.
Absolutely, it's on
Game
Fox.
2 of the NLCS coming out this afternoon, 3:35. You can watch it right on Fox 17, your Code Red station. We got you covered. And Fox 17 News, your home for the World Series and Super Bowl 54.
We're gonna get a Fox 17 infomercial for the rest of the show now, or at least until first pitch.
You got to, listen. Yes.
Yankees Stros tonight in the nightcap.
We do not have that game.
That one is not on Fox
That game
17.
is not on Fox 17.
That's
no.
on TBS.
That's on WTBS Atlanta.
Yeah.
For those of you who remember that.
What's our Thursday night game? New Orleans, Arizona. Is that right? So do we have a little DeAndre Hopkins? Is he coming back? I haven't seen if he is.
He was
I know
off.
He's been practicing.
He was released from the injured
Saints
reserve.
Cardinals.
So it is Saints Cardinals out there in Arizona. And right now it's the line that says the Cardinals are favored by 2 points in this ball
Cardinals
game.
haven't won a home game yet.
Well, the argument can be made when you get, and we'll do our NFL power rankings a little bit later, but the argument can be made whoever loses this game, their season may be done. Because you get to 2 and 5.
I agree.
And you're not gonna, you're just not gonna make it.
That's a hole. But even you got the extra game, but that's a hole. Let me just go on and throw this out for FanDuel purposes, okay?
Sure.
I'm prepared, just like I was prepared, ironically, on an Arizona game a couple of weeks ago against Philadelphia. I gave everybody a nice, juicy, free tip.
You did.
That was a winner.
And it paid off.
Ironically, it was an Arizona game at home.
It was.
I'm prepared, Justin, to do it again.
Okay.
Take the Arizona Cardinals at home, minus the 2. Go on and lock it in.
Arizona minus the 2.
On
okay.
FanDuel. Money line, minus the 2, whatever you want to do, or both. Lock it in right now. Ray's over there scribbling down. He knows. I bet he's going to pound FanDuel with this. This is the tip that's going to work. Take the Cardinals and sit back and enjoy tomorrow night. I can't promise it's going to be a good game. I'm just telling you, that's a free gift from the McFarland Show.
I don't think you can promise anything with Thursday Night Football.
No.
From here on out.
No.
I'm not even sure if there's going to be a game.
You can't even promise touchdowns.
Nights. No, well, certainly not. No.
Or a touchdown.
I mean, you can promise a snarky Al Michaels. You can promise that. They have cut Al loose.
Boy, he is.
And you can promise and I'm calling him snarky. Thank you to my professor in school who called me snarky from time to time. Snarky, I think, is the right term for for Al Michaels right now down there in
was that Mississippi, Justin?
I don't know. It may have slipped out there for Al Michaels.
I do like the bet with Darren. I do like the Arizona Cardinals. They've actually lost the last 9 at home, going back from last year.
It's a lock. So you just remember, and I'll say this again tomorrow. I'm just go on and do it now before it goes up. Okay, go on and lock it in now at -2. That's a free tip right here on the McFarland Show. Go to FanDuel and lock it in and enjoy whatever your winnings, whatever you put it to. Just do that because that's a winner.
Now, honestly, good, Darren. And if you don't know, it's fine. Heck, I didn't know what was on my own television station a few moments ago. Who's the starting quarterback these days for the New Orleans Saints? Is it Jameis?
No,
or
Andy Dalton.
No, yeah.
Jameis is hurt still, right?
The Red Rifle, man.
So it's Andy Dalton.
Rifle?
So is Andy Dalton out there?
Andy Dalton the last 2 games.
It's been Andy Dalton the last 2 games?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Taysom's a tight end now, and Jameis is out. So, yeah.
So they're okay, I see now. They're 2 out of 3 with Andy Dalton here. They only win a 39-32 game over Seattle with Andy Dalton at the helm.
That was the Taysom Hill, 4 touchdowns that day?
I see.
Yeah, that's the game they took over. All right, we're going to come back.
Interesting.
Steve Lehman from News Channel 5 is going to join us. He was in Knoxville for the UT-Bama game. He was at the Delaney Walker presser yesterday that the Titans held. And we'll get into a lot of things with Steve Lehman on the other side as you listen to the McFarland Show here live on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. That's right, free. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuities in simple-to-understand terms that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And it's free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits from financially strong insurers.
Call 800-715-9880.
That's right, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling today.
Call 800-715-9880. That's 800-715-9880.
Sponsored by Annuity General. Producers have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer. Increased income is possible using strategies suited to your goals and may require buying multiple annuities and holding them full term.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. Package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. It's starleasing.com to learn more.
Hey, it's Sammy Kincaid, host of Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid. Every Saturday morning from 9 to 10, listen in as I highlight women in sports from high school to the pros, athletes and administrators. And you know what? Let's talk some ball with women covering the game across the country. Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid is every Saturday morning. Listen in on Nashville Sports Radio from 9 to 10 a.m.
Back here on the McFarland Show, I got Ray. I got him. But it was kind of a cheap one because you were talking.
I'm sorry. I was yammering.
Your wife is in the studio.
My wife is in the studio.
It's her first time here.
Yeah.
She wants to see radio Justin, excuse me. We got a TV guy on the line, but we got radio
Yes, we
Justin,
do.
Radio
Yes, we do.
Justin in here. Darren,
TV guys unite in just a second here. Go ahead, Darren. Go ahead.
Well, let's go to Steve Lehman, News Channel 5 on our Cure Hotline. That number, by the way, 615-844-5600. And he is TV guy, although he's done radio too. Steve and I have done radio together. Yeah. He's no stranger to radio. Steve, what's up?
D-Mac, good to hear from you, buddy.
Yes, sir. We'll try to have as much fun as we can during this interview, but there's no way we can top the fun that was had on Saturday. You had a front row seat to it. What was it like in Knoxville?
Well, and I just heard that they officially did a decibel reading at some point during the game that was like 125.4. And I believe the only sporting venue I've ever been in that was louder than that was Bridgestone Arena during the Stanley Cup final run in that Game 6 against Anaheim way back in 2017. And so a couple pretty memorable sporting events here in the state of Tennessee. But that was amazing. It was the loudest college football stadium I've ever been in. And, yes, it was loud at the end when the game came down to it, but Darren, it was loud an hour before the game when, like, the specialist ran on the field for the first time and the band played Rocky Top for the first time. And it was loud in the first quarter and the second quarter and the third quarter all the way to the end. And then on top of that, it was one of the best regular season games I've ever seen. There have been games with bigger implications in terms of a conference title later in the season or a postseason game. But for a game in October between two teams that I think are top 5 in the country, to go back and forth like that for 4 hours and then come down to the very final play of the game, it was as good as it gets.
Back in the day before, everything was out there for you to go back and listen to or watch, we would just move on and say, we knew Tennessee was going to beat Alabama. But if I said that, then people will go back and listen to last week's shows and they're like, you're a liar. That's not what you said. And, so we can't do that. But I do want to go back for a second and just know how, because Justin and I were sitting here on Thursday and Friday going, we believe in this Tennessee team, but Alabama's been there, done it. This has been their spot, okay? Tennessee hasn't. So until they do it, we can't believe that they're actually going to do it. Do we believe it's going to be a great game? Sure. Does it have the making of possibly an upset? Sure.
Absolutely.
But if you have to pick and you have to say when the sound, when the horn goes off, the team that's been there and done it for a long time is the team you probably have to pick. And so that's how we tabled how the game was going to play out. So now that we know, we can all say different things, but going into last week, Thursday, Friday, what were you thinking? Did you really think Tennessee could actually win the game when it was, all said and done?
Well, first off, there was another radio host in this town who predicted absolutely an Alabama blowout.
Yes.
You guys have nothing to be ashamed about with your predictions going into the game. I think what made this feeling different than all the previous games of the 15 years is Josh Heupel's delivered a belief, even before last Saturday, that this team is different and this program is different. And I think that's what made the atmosphere so special on Saturday, is Tennessee fans truly believed. I'm not sure they would have predicted it, but they truly believed they walked into the stadium on Saturday with a chance to win. It wasn't just hoping for a miracle to beat the almighty Saban. It was, we can actually go out there and beat these guys. I think the two surprising things to me was how unsettled Alabama looked at times in that atmosphere and on that stage, because we're just not used to seeing that from Nick Saban teams. But then the resolve of Tennessee, because as good as it started in the first half, and they were incredible in half number one, there were some mistakes in the second half, and an Alabama rally as they got their sea legs under them. And then you have the fumble at the 10-yard line that gets scooped up by Dallas Turner. And at that moment, I thought, this is the moment that Alabama shows it's been here before and Tennessee hasn't. And then even when Alabama drove the field at the end of the game, I thought, okay, well, it was an amazing game, amazing effort, but Alabama's going to have the ball last, and that could be it. For Tennessee to not just come back from the fumble, but also find a way to get 3 straight stops, force a 50-yard field goal that misses, and then go 43 yards in 21 seconds to set up that last kick and make it, that to me is what made this so spectacular and absolutely cemented the fact that Josh Heupel has changed everything on Rocky Top in just 18 short months.
Are you shocked that Alabama had 17 penalties on Saturday? A Nick Saban coach team, 17 penalties. I think Tennessee had, a handful, 5 or 6?
I'm shocked when you say it like that as a question form, because we're so used to Nick Saban teams being disciplined, Darren. I'm not shocked having stood on the sideline in Neyland Stadium during that game. It was difficult to have the conversation with the person next to you. So I can't imagine being in the huddle or going to the line of scrimmage and trying to do an audible and get a playoff in 40 seconds. So in that sense, I'm not shocked, and Tennessee owes its fans, all 102,000 of them, a huge thank you for the atmosphere that they provided on Saturday.
Vince Ferrara came on here Monday and painted the picture that he was down on the field when it ended, and he kind of took us through what it was like. All the footage we've seen, all over the place of people running around like crazy, the field goal coming down, all that stuff, goalposts coming down. So were you down there when it ended? And if so, what was that whole experience like for you?
Yeah, and I've posted my video on Twitter and Instagram, so people can feel free to check that out and Steve Lehman if they'd like. But I purposely found a spot in the tunnel by the media entrance and exit, just because I didn't want to be in a place where as soon as the kick went through, somebody's literally jumping out of the stands on my back. So I was strategic where I was standing, number one. But two, immediately I just started walking out in the field, and it was unlike any scene I've seen. I've been a part of court stormings or field stormings, but again, the euphoria of getting over the hump for the first time in 16 years in a game that went like that went down to the final play. It's nighttime all of a sudden in Knoxville. You've got fireworks going off above you. You've got what seemed like all of the 102,000 people running on the field around you. It was really special. It was wild. I never felt unsafe, but it was certainly a wild scene. Then you get the cigar smoke wafting in the air too. So it was truly something special. And I went to Illinois, so I'd like to think I'm very impartial in the whole thing. It wasn't one of those emotional moments for me. It was just really awesome to be there. And I certainly understand, if you are a Tennessee fan, how it could have been one of the more emotional Saturdays of your life.
All right, last thing, because I know we got some Titan stuff to get to as well. If Tennessee loses to Georgia, and that's their only hiccup, and that shoves them out of going to Atlanta for the SEC championship game, do you think they would actually leave Tennessee out of the college football playoffs with that being their only hiccup, a loss to Georgia?
Ooh, a lot of things to say there. Number one, I think Tennessee wins at Georgia right
Ooh,
what?
okay.
What?
I don't think Stetson Bennett keeps up with the way Hendon Hooker's playing right now. Bryce Young was the one quarterback, maybe C.J. Stroud another, that could keep up with Hendon Hooker the way he played last weekend with that Tennessee offense. So while that's a huge game and it's a road challenge, and we'll get to that in a couple weeks, I actually think Tennessee wins if it's played today. But if they lose in your scenario on the road, which is certainly possible, and Georgia goes on and wins the SEC championship against Alabama, so give the Crimson Tide 2 losses, I think there's a very real possibility Tennessee gets in. If it's a close game, you don't want to go down there and lose by 3 or 4 scores, obviously. And then you have to see what else happens out there. But I don't see a Pac-12 team getting in. The Big 12 looks pretty shaky to me right now, unless somehow TCU runs the table completely. I think you have to assume Ohio State or maybe Michigan from the Big 10 is in. The SEC champ is in. Clemson, I think, is headed towards an undefeated season. So I got to think they're in. But that would leave a 4th spot out there. And if you're talking about like an 11 or 12-1 TCU team or somebody out of the Big 12 and a 2-loss Pac-12 team, and Tennessee sitting there at 11-1 and only loss would be at Georgia, I don't know how you keep them out.
I should have painted the scenario. What if Georgia or Alabama beat Georgia in the SEC tournament, so they all beat each other, and they all have one loss, and then what do they do?
Well, then I think Tennessee's probably out, because you'd be talking about they lost to Georgia head-to-head. Alabama's going to be in as the SEC champion, and Tennessee didn't win the division either then. So I think your argument for Tennessee gets pretty shallow, as good as I think they are at that point. But, yeah, flip it around and Georgia wins the conference, I think Tennessee probably gets in if there's a second SEC team to get in.
Steve, good to meet you. Justin McFarland here, your TV brethren from down the dial a little bit. Let me ask you, sir, if you've been here since 2011, and so you've seen Derek Dooley to Butch Jones to Jeremy Pruitt, why did it work this time? What was different about Josh Pruitt that he was able to get this win over Alabama finally after all this time and all these tries? Let's just be honest. They were trying over and over again here to get this done, and they just couldn't. And here we are on try number 4 now, and we were finally able to overcome here.
Well, I think there are a lot of problems with all the guys you previously talked about, and I think the biggest thing I'll say about Josh Heupel is I think it's a lot about his personality. Yes, his offense is really good. There's a lot of smart things in it. And I think you have to give a ton of credit to Hendon Hooker. He's literally the perfect quarterback for Josh Heupel's system, and he's come in and looked like a totally different guy. If you watched him at Virginia Tech, he was just another quarterback. Now he's maybe the Heisman Trophy winner in Tennessee's offense a year later. And, oh, by the way, he didn't win the job initially last year, so it took a little while for that to even materialize. But, boy, has it been a perfect marriage since it has. But I think the biggest thing about Heupel, and, look, I covered him back at Oklahoma, And he was essentially run out of town as the offensive coordinator at his alma mater, where he was the runner-up for the Heisman. He was fired at Utah State. He wasn't that great at Missouri. His record got worse every year at Central Florida, taking over for Scott Frost's team that was undefeated. I was certainly not positive that he was going to walk in and be able to be the guy to turn this around. But the one thing that Josh Heupel has is he's been through all those experiences. And as a player and as a coach, he's been at the highest level. He's been in the playoffs. He's been in a national championship game. He won a national championship as a quarterback. And so I think he's unflappable about the criticism, about the spectacle, about anything that comes. And last week, when everybody made such a big deal about that game, he just said, look, it's another game. And the whole point of this game, yes, it's a big game. We're excited about Saturday. But the whole point is we have to prepare Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday exactly like we have every other week of the year in order to be able to play our best on Saturday. And I think that even-keel nature played out. They were the much more settled team ready to be in the environment and play than Alabama was, as amazing as that is to say. And the thing I love about it, too, is then they win that game. You know what happened on Monday morning? They brought the whole team in, and those coaches and Josh Heupel ripped them for all the bad plays. They said, look, you won, and we gave you 24 hours to celebrate, but here's what you did wrong. You didn't do this on this play. You didn't do that on that play. And guys, if we fix that, we have another level to get to. That, I think, is what has made Josh Heupel so special at Tennessee so far.
Let's get on back down here to Nashville and the Tennessee Titans here as they are coming off the bye week, getting ready to play the Indianapolis Colts here for what I call Game 2 of the I-65 series here. Can you talk to me about the mood in the building as the Titans get back? Are they laid back? Are they intense? Like, what have you been able to get from them as they get set for this one?
I think it's a little bit similar to what I just described at Tennessee. They feel good about themselves because they've found a way to win 3 straight games. They feel good about themselves because I think they're a little bit more healthy, a little bit more refreshed coming off the bye week. But they understand they've got 12 long weeks to go. They got a huge one this week, and frankly, the way they played through 5 games isn't good enough the rest of the way. So they understand they've got to be better. They've got to eliminate the X-plays on defense. They've got to be better in pass protection. They've got to finish games in the fourth quarter, or frankly, score it all in the second half on offense. They understand that those things have to happen here in what will be a very long second half of the season, literally, or it will be figuratively a very long second half of the season for this team. And this game on Sunday, to me, is a real statement game because I think the Titans are better than the Colts. It's not because I think this team is so great. I think the Titans are a step back from where they've been the last few years, but they're still the best team in this division, if for no other reason than the attitude and the culture that Mike Vrabel has provided this team and that the leaders of this team have constructed over the last few years. And I think because of that, they should come out on Sunday and play a very good game, be the more physical, be the more sound team, and be ready to win the game in the second half. That we haven't seen from the Colts over the last couple of years. We have seen it consistently for the Titans. And if they're able to do it again Sunday, they're going to walk away with essentially a 2.5-game lead in the division and the tiebreak. And yes, there's a lot of football left to be played, but that would be a huge lead for a team trying to win a 3rd consecutive division title.
You were in the room yesterday with Delanie Walker, who retired after 14 years in the NFL and 7 years with the Titans. For a lot of people listening under the sound of our voices this afternoon, Delanie Walker is the best tight end in Titans history. Now, for those of us who are a little older, we remember Frank Wycheck and what that was like. But what is, in your opinion, good sir, the legacy of Delanie Walker going to be with this organization?
Well, it's funny, Justin. He actually said yesterday that I still put Frank number 1 and he number 2. So he deferred on that
so he knows. So he knows. Okay.
Well, I think it's interesting. I think Frank probably is 1 because of the longevity and the teams he played with. I mean, he's one of the guys that sort of cemented the Titans in the culture here. But in terms of a short period of time over those 3, 4, 5 years where Delanie was truly elite, he was the best in that short period of time that the Titans have ever seen as a pass catcher. And so I give him a lot of props for that. But how I really remember him is he was a guy who took advantage of his opportunity. You know, he was second fiddle to Vernon Davis in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
He came here for the opportunity to be number one. He immediately became that guy and got no love for it because he played on the worst team in the NFL. And I remember talking to him about those frustrations that he wasn't getting recognized. And he even said it yesterday. He said, I talked to Jarrell Casey, and we said, man, the only way we're ever going to get recognized is if we start whooping people. And they literally helped change the culture. And they started winning games. And they brought about the first winning team in 2016. They got back to the playoffs for the first time in 2017, and they were both part of that team that went all the way to the AFC Championship game in 2019. And so 3 consecutive Pro Bowls, but as much as anything, he was a guy who was always accountable, even in the bad times, and helped turn this franchise around to what we're experiencing now, which are pretty good times.
What did you think of the announcement on the new stadium? If it all goes through, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm fired up about it, D-Mac. As you know, we've had plenty of these conversations in the past that I've been saying basically since 2011 that we need to be ready to have this conversation because it's coming, and you don't want it to last too long, and you don't want it to be a thing that is a burden on taxpayers as much as it has to be. I think it's good. It's great, obviously, from a sports perspective. I wish it happened maybe 6 months earlier because I think it would have improved our chances to have a World Cup game in the summer of 2026. But ultimately, it's huge for the city. And I'll say this. I don't care what side of the aisle you are on politically, and I know there's a lot of criticism out there of Mayor Cooper. I thought in that press conference the other day, I thought it was his best moment as mayor because he was putting through something for the city, whether you oppose it or not. But he clearly articulated why it was good, why he thought it was good, and then the other benefits that he think can come off of it. And he may not even be in office by the time that those really get to be passed or voted on, all that. But he very clearly laid out a message that said, we need to do this because it's going to protect the city and its taxpayers from some financial obligations. It's going to be huge for what it does, and it's going to be the catalyst for a redevelopment of a neighborhood that right now, frankly, isn't used much by the city, and potentially for transit and other things. And again, you may disagree with the man, you may disagree with the idea or all that, but I thought in that press conference, it was one of his shining moments as a mayor.
I was going to say, that's saying something, though, Steve. This is a man who's seen the city through a tornado that was very bad, and, of course, a bombing in downtown Nashville that wrecked 2 city blocks. And now this, and you're saying this is potentially is the shining moment in his career. And I'm curious why this moment jumps out at you instead of maybe some of those other moments there.
Well, I just thought he was so clear with it. I also think, obviously, in 2020, you had the 2 moments you talked about. You also had the COVID response.
Yes, sir.
He certainly has some detractors on how that went in the city at times. And so, I mean, you're going to have people on both sides of that. But I just think this was one of those moments where he sat down and just laid out completely what he wants, what he believes is the right thing to do. And again, you may or may not agree with that, but I think he was more clear in this case than in some of the bombing. There's no ambiguity. Everybody was on the same team that day.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it took necessarily the same level of courage to stand up and be the leader on that day because every Nashvilleian was on the same team. But in this particular case, this is a battle that is a bit divisive in the community, and he went up and laid forth a very compelling case. Now, I happen to agree with the case on this one because I'm a sports fan and I want to see the stadium done. But I think even if you're on the other side, you listen to the man and said, this is the point he has, this is the goal he wants, and he's laying out why exactly it makes sense. I'll look into it now and see if I agree with him or not. But I just thought he did a very good job on, let's see, Monday when that press conference was.
Yeah. You ever hit reply all at News Channel 5?
Only when I'm really mad at the officiating.
Well done.
Nice.
Steve, good to talk to you. Thanks for doing this. We'll talk to you down the road.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, guys. Congratulations. We'll see you soon.
Thanks. Steve Lehman, News Channel 5. That's a good answer. We'll come back and continue the discussion on the other side here on the McFarland Show, live on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling mini games. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired their personal trainer as a caterer.
All right, folks, let's keep this line moving. You there with the tongs. Picking up one Duchess potato at a time will not cut it at my catering table. Drop and give me 50.
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Okay, this is what we call the wild mushroom and asparagus dip, and press. Come on, let's get those plates above your heads.
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Slim's Tender Mac Bowls are back. We start with a 3-cheese blend to make our delicious mac and top it with chopped hand-breaded tenders and Colby Jack cheese. Try the Tender Mac Bowl meal or the Buffalo Tender Mac Bowl meal, both served with Texas toast and a medium drink. But hurry, they're only around for a limited time. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
Five-state forecast.
Your exclusive national sports radio, WNSR Sky Scan forecast. For today, a sunny sky with a high of 60. Mainly clear tonight, low 34. Sunny Thursday, high 66. Sunny and milder Friday, high 76. Sunny Saturday. Utilizing the resources of the Weatherbug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Everybody's favorite band here on the McFarland Show. You don't know who this is, do you?
No
TV
clue. I'm sorry, I don't.
Well, Nickelback. That's who it was, right? Ray? Yes? Nickelback? Yeah, I don't think Ray even knows.
Yes, it was.
Ray picks it up.
Nickelback, the song was called Animals.
Let's say I think Ray picks it up at random and just
they're just
hit the thing.
People just hate on them.
People, who are these people who hate on Nickelback that you talk about so often?
You know, people are just haters.
Why are people hating on Nickelback?
I don't know. I don't know.
I
don't know. Nickelback gets people mad. It's people angry. Some people.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it gets me fired up. I'm ready to go.
You know, because you're ready to defend Nickelback. Like, this is a thing for you. Like, this is a spot.
I just don't think they deserve to be dumped on as much as they do.
Well, who are these people?
I don't have names.
I
don't have
there
names.
must be a group or something because the way you talk about it seems like people just be hating. It seems like the people are outside. It's like, are they here?
I'm sure they have a Facebook page.
I bet the Facebook page. Listen, there's a Facebook page for everything, so why not?
Yeah.
For the people who hate Nickelback, I like Aerosmith myself. That's
okay.
That's
nothing wrong with that.
If we're gonna do a rock band, that's my kind of speed there.
Well, we're going to do our top 10 rankings at 3 o'clock. So we're going to start the second hour.
Top 10 rock bands?
With it? No. Our NFL top 10 rankings. Yeah,
that's actually a great idea. That's actually a great idea by
I don't know.
Justin.
I don't know if I can get there.
I'm going to say that's probably summer months stuff.
Yeah, we could probably do it. I don't know if I can get there. We'll see. We'll see.
When we're a little thirsty and a little dry for sports news.
not
I
now.
don't think October is the month to be doing that.
Couple things
Probably
going
not.
on. Couple things going
Yeah,
on.
we got some stuff going on. So we will do that at 3 o'clock, our top 10 rankings in the NFL. We've been doing that every week here on the show. 3:20, we will talk a little bit about the Preds and their season thus far. It is still very, very early in their season, but they did have a late one last night at Bridgestone Arena against Los Angeles, but we'll get into their first 5 games of the season. So we'll do that at about 3:20.
You know, one thing that we had not mentioned, and before we get too far away from it, I did just want to mention about Nashville SC, whose season ended last week with the loss in the playoffs. And, you know, they had a very good campaign here for the first year in Geodis Park. I know they even made the national broadcast. I was watching a little bit of the Austin game down there for the MLS playoffs, and the announcer there, the play-by-play for the Austin guy, was saying that, you know, Austin is one of the newer markets in the MLS, and they're second in attendance only to Nashville.
Yep.
And, you know, when he said that, it got me and my wife's attention, like, wow, okay. And they were going nuts there in Austin. It looks like a very lively crowd. But it just goes to show the kind of presence already that Nashville SC has been able to have in the first year in their ballpark, their brand new ballpark. And it also kind of leads you to, again, what a new stadium and the kind of energy a new stadium can bring to a fan base, the way that fan base has responded there at the fairgrounds. So I just wanted to put that out there. I know their season is over, but before we got too far away, I at least wanted to just kind of wave goodbye to Nashville SC as they kind of leave our sports scene for a little while.
Little did I know when I went to that Sunday night game against the Houston Dynamo that loss, even though earlier in the day they learned they punched their ticket into the MLS playoffs, little do know how costly that loss would be. So didn't know it at the time. But, yeah, it's a great season. Obviously, Gary Smith wasn't there in Los Angeles for their game. Their head coach was out. They lost a tough one, 1-0. So it's still overall a really good season, and they'll try to get better next year. Mukhtar is so much fun.
Mukhtar, what an addition!
He's unbelievable.
He is to the overall sports scene, and that's something to be said here, Darren. Between Mukhtar and Philip Forsberg for the Predators, and Derrick Henry for the Titans, these are the literal faces now of our sports scene here in town. These are the guys who are out there taking the bow, getting it done, and these are the guys who will live on in the memory of young kids, who grow up now going to games at Geodis Park. They're going to remember players like them or Philip Forsberg, and that's a special thing that I just wanted to take time and recognize that we've got leaders who are really good, not just good for us. Because, everybody's got the local. Remember, they used to let at least one person in the All-Star game for every single team. But some of these All-Stars weren't really All-Stars. We kind of knew, like, dude, you're hitting 269. Why are you here? You're here just because your team needs a representative. That's why you're here. These guys are outstanding players, recognized across the league, and they end up being ambassadors for the city and for their team. And I think we've got a great group of people doing that right now.
Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC Media Days for basketball, he said it is time to take a fresh look at March Madness. We'll discuss that on the other side to close out the first hour of the McFarland Show here on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Hey guys, it's Zach. Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's free bets back if your bet doesn't win. Just sign up with our promo code TAS. There's so many great deals. You can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. And you get paid your winnings fast. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code TAS. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. In the state of Tennessee, you got to be 21 and up and present in Tennessee. First online, real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the TN Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Greg Pogue back once again to tell you about Bongo Java, Nashville's oldest and most celebrated coffee company, now also located in the Omni Nashville Hotel. Reward yourself for surviving Nashville traffic with fresh, locally roasted coffee, classic handcrafted espresso drinks, and fresh baked goods all day long. And free Wi-Fi, so you don't have to work from home. #1 in customer service. You made it through the traffic. Reward yourself with a perfect pick-me-up at Bongo Java. Fresh coffee, delicious treats, great atmosphere. Open 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. daily. Bongo Java at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Get all your NASCAR news every weekday right here on The Final Lap. Hey, it's Kerry Murphy, and Joey Logano punches his ticket to the championship for a race at Phoenix after winning at Las Vegas this past weekend. Up next is Homestead Miami Speedway. So grab all the latest NASCAR news, race recaps, driver interviews, stats, and info every single weekday. Same place Joey does.
Hi, I'm Joey Logano, and I get my NASCAR news on The Final Lap with Kerry Murphy.
Every single weekday.
NFL top 10 rankings coming up to begin the second hour. Plus, we'll talk a little Preds after that. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey speaking at SEC Media Days, where they have picked Kentucky to be the favorite to win the SEC this year.
Sure, that's never happened before.
No,
First time for Kentucky, I'm sure, except not really.
Quite a ripple that went through the media when that was released, that they had picked Kentucky to win the SEC in hoops. But he says that it's time to take a fresh look at the NCAA men's basketball tournament.
And what did he mean by that?
Well, he said he's not ready to make headlines just yet.
Then why say it?
I know. I agree. But he also said he's open to conversation about the tournament not excluding small conference champions while potentially including more teams. So he is hinting that maybe the 68-team field could get bigger. Now, this is where I'm confused.
Because that's just not enough, right?
I know. This is where I'm confused. He says, like Mississippi Ole Miss was the last team in the 64-team field of the NCAA baseball tournament. They were the last team in.
Baseball or basketball?
In baseball this year.
Baseball. Okay.
Just
want to make sure.
They won the College World Series.
They did.
So he's using that as an example, like, hey, look. And so rather than leave out these teams, he says, in the smaller conferences and what have you, give them a chance. And who knows, maybe they could be that story. Well, here's the problem, Commissioner. I like Greg Sankey a lot and have dealt with him a lot over the years. You're comparing teams from smaller conferences to Ole Miss. Ole Miss baseball, which is pretty good. And I get it. They went through their bad patch late in the year or in middle to late year. And they were horrible. And that really drug them way down. And they end up.
But they're still an SEC school.
They're an SEC school, which is, by the way, a powerhouse baseball conference. So it's not exactly an apples-to-apples comparison.
They're not North Texas or something. Or,
right.
And nothing, no disrespect to North Texas. I tell you what, they're not exactly Northwest East Central State Tech University of Incorporated.
It's like saying, well, Florida Gulf Coast, if they lost in their championship game but were phenomenal, they should get an at-large bid because they could be that last team in and win it all. I don't think that's really a apples-to-apples comparison to Ole Miss baseball getting in. Like I said, in a powerhouse baseball conference and winning the national championship. I mean, come on.
I'm sure there'll be time to get to this, but isn't there something like roughly 320 teams playing Division I basketball?
That's 350.
Is it 350?
Something like
so
that.
So if you're already letting in 68. If you let in, let's just even 100, then aren't you letting in already about 35, 40% of the, maybe not that high, about 30, 35% of the entire league is getting the March Madness? And is it really all that special then? If everybody going?
Yep.
I'm just saying, so. Where does it stop? And then why are you letting, these other smaller conferences come in if they're not going to get a legit chance?
Stay tuned. Hour number 2 is coming up next.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Marina Roy. As Russia's war against Ukraine continues and countries cut oil production, President Biden announced he's releasing an additional 15 million barrels of oil from the nation's stockpiles to help lower gas prices. He also urged oil companies to use record profits to increase production. ABC's Karen Travers has more.
The president's message today was you shouldn't be using record profits, to buy back stock. You should be increasing production, working on refining in order to bring down the prices at the pump. But a lot of this is more message, more rhetoric from the president, calling on these companies, giving them his advice on what they should be doing. We'll see if they heed that call.
Americans could get some relief on taxes. The IRS is adjusting the key tax code brackets for 2023 to reflect the higher inflation. The NTSB is beginning its investigation into yesterday's small plane crash in Marietta, Ohio. This is ABC News.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
Woo! It's a scorcher out there, but we've got tips that'll keep you chilling this August. Tip number 1, keep your AC in peak condition. Tip number 2, drink lots of fluids. Tip number 3, go for refreshing top prizes up to a cool $1 million by playing all new August Insta games from the Tennessee Lottery. All of these exhilarating games can lead to cold, hard cash. So head to the shade of your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer and enjoy some game-changing fun today.
Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Please play responsibly.
From scholarship and grant programs to providing students with the qualifications and certifications they need to start their professional careers, the Tennessee Lottery has awarded more than $6.5 billion in funding to education programs, and we're proud to play our part. See for yourself how all of the fun of the Tennessee Lottery goes to supporting someone's future and a brighter tomorrow at tnlottery.com.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now on the Cure Hotline at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty there.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour here on the McFarland Show. Darren and Justin here with you on this Wednesday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a good day to this point. Ray is also in the room with us. Phillies and Padres, Game 2 on Fox 17 today, if you want to watch here locally. That'll be about 30 minutes. First pitch. Can the Padres even that series up at 1?
Absolutely. Looking forward to the NLCS here. And, what we've got is interesting here because we've got the small market team in San Diego here, and they are dealing with now the Yankees, the Phillies.
Oh, I didn't really want us to start talking baseball. I was just telling everybody.
You were just telling people?
Yeah, we got to do rankings.
We ain't go do it? Okay.
We did enough baseball.
Okay, I understand.
I'm just telling them. I'm trying to give your TV.
It's a sore spot. I understand right now. It's tough folks. Right now.
Maybe a little bit better.
It will be.
Possibly. All right, let's get into our top 10 rankings for going into week 7 of the NFL season. So Ray has got some graphics. By the way, you can watch our show every single day on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Every day. Hello. How you doing? And I know a lot of you do. And so he's got a nice graphic of our top 10. And so, Justin, why don't you start?
Okay.
And he'll put the graphic up of your top 10.
Okay. There is my top 10 for those of you watching on the screen there on our Facebook and YouTube and everywhere else. And for those of you listening, here are the top 10. I'm just going to throw them out there since they're already up. I've got number 1, Philadelphia. The Eagles but they move up to my number 1 spot. I had them, I think, at number 2 last week.
You had them at 2 for the last 2 weeks.
Yes. Then the Buffalo Bills move up to the number 2 spot after the Eagles continue to be undefeated. So, listen, I'm going to give, credence to the Eagles continuing to be undefeated. That's why they're number 1. Point blank, period, the end. Based on nothing else than the fact that they're the only ones who hasn't lost any games yet. So they're number 1. That's all. Buffalo is number 2. Kansas City is number 3. Minnesota continues to just win football games. And they come in at number 4. The Giants, the New York Giants, coming in at number 5 after they also somehow continue to win football games. But you know what, with the Giants, I'm just tired of asking questions. Forget it. They're winning. I don't know how they're doing it, and it really doesn't matter because at the end of the day, the W's count, everything else walks. They're number 5. The Dallas Cowboys at number 6. The Los Angeles Chargers, don't say San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers at number 7. The New York Jets, yes, I said the Jets, getting off the MESS. They are number 8. And then, here we are, making their introduction into my top 10, are your Tennessee Titans at number 9, followed by the San Francisco 49ers at number 10. And the 49ers are number 10 based on nothing more than their defense has been very impressive, even though they have not been able to get all the W's I think they deserve. They've given up only something like, I think it was 91 points for the entire season, which is impressive.
So you were impressed with the Titans off week, clearly.
I was impressed.
You were blown away by their
bye
week.
No. What happened was I was disappointed with the Baltimore Ravens, who are not in my top 10, is what happened. So the Ravens dropped out, so we needed someone to replace them because the Ravens were in my top 10, I believe, last week, and they are no longer there. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were also in my top 10. They are no longer there.
Okay.
Based on their losses.
Yeah. Okay.
So now the Titans move in. And I don't think the Jets were in last week, so now the Jets move in as well. So there we are with my top 10 for this week, and I feel very comfortable.
So the Ravens losing on the road to a Giants team that you have very high in your you
I
push
have
them out
high.
of the top 10,
Yes,
and replace them with a team that was on a bye.
Yes.
Okay. Just so I'm
Okay, come on with it.
I'm just asking questions.
Come on. Are they in first place?
And you had San Francisco.
Are they in first place? They're not in first place?
10
The Titans
last
are not
week.
in first place?
They got
they are
smoked
in first place. Oh.
by the Falcons, and you keep them in the top 10.
Who got smoked by the Falcons? The 49ers?
Yeah,
the 49ers they did lose to the Marcus Mariota.
I'm sorry.
No, that was it. 28-14. Yeah, it was the Falcons.
Yeah.
They lost to the Falcons.
They were horrible.
Yeah.
They were horrible.
The defense has been very impressive.
And so you keep them in the top 10.
Yeah. Well, they're listen.
Push the Ravens
it's
out.
about a 3-3.
Who lost to what? Would you have the Giants again?
Number 5.
Number 5.
That's right.
On the road, they
That's
lost
right.
to the Giants by 4. Your number 5 team.
Yes.
And you push them out of the top 10.
I'm very comfortable with
And you
this,
replace
yes.
them with a bye week team.
Absolutely.
And a team that lost to the Falcons.
Team
by
that
2
lost to the
touchdowns.
Falcons. It's a body
Oh,
of
okay.
it's a body of work thing.
Okay.
It's not, if you want to go week by week, that's fine with me.
Just.
But I judge off body of work and trust throughout the year. So this is where I'm at here with this.
2 questions before we get to Darren's
Sure.
list here.
Come on with it.
One big surprise. Well, actually 2.
All right.
No Buccaneers. And
No.
Green Bay Packers in the top 10. Which
No.
is, you don't see that often, right?
No.
In terms of the AFC, we just spoke about this. I think was your week 1 rankings when you did a few weeks ago. We talked about the Titans, where they sit in terms of the AFC. The AFC doesn't look so strong now, right? Because can you name a third best AFC team
Yeah, but
right
see,
now?
it seems top heavy in the AFC.
Between 2 teams, right?
Yeah, the Bills and the Chiefs.
Outside of that, who do you have as the third team? Can the Titans be one? Are the Bengals one, which is not on this list as well?
Well, the AFC North is a mess. The ANC North is log jammed at 3-3 across the board, just about, and so it's hard to decipher among that bunch who is the better team, versus another, other than the Cleveland Browns, who I believe have now lost 3 straight, and they're leaking oil. So I don't know what to do with that. But this is and this is why this is interesting, and this is why we do this, because it provokes these thought-provoking conversations that we're having right now. The Browns are 2-4.
I just wanted to find out what you saw on the Titans during their off week that propelled them into your top 10 that you were just blown away by.
Well, let me ask you: Did they lose the bye week?
Well, I think it's technically impossible.
Did they lose the bye week?
Unless the team,
they didn't lose. Did they lose the game?
If players
they didn't
go
lose
down
the game,
in
though,
the bye
right?
week,
But they didn't. They didn't lose, right? They're okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, then and they're in first place. And then let's see. Let's check the standings here. I could have swore I saw. Yeah, there they are.
Let's see.
Number 1 in the AFC South.
Baltimore, you had 7 last week.
So that means
they lost to his number 5 ranking
that is correct.
on the road.
That is correct.
And they slide out.
So
and the Titans did nothing.
That is
they
correct.
literally did like Mike Vrabel did his coach's show, and Justin's like, put him in the top 10.
As if you've never heard of a team backing their way into something. You've never heard of that. You've never heard.
I just want to know.
You've never gone to sleep and woke up and somebody won the division even though they didn't play. That's never happened before.
So, did you get inspired?
That happens all the time.
From doing reports all Monday in front of Nissan Stadium? Is this
no
inspirational?
No, this is not inspirational.
This is like, remember the Titans? You
not
went away
at all.
to this camp
not at all.
on Monday for
not
4
at all.
hours, and you're
not
like,
at all.
Put him in the top 10.
That's not the way this goes.
Oh my gosh!
Not at all.
Did they bring you breakfast? Is that what it was? Did they
wish.
Just say, Justin, can you put us in our top 10?
Listen, that's not the way this goes. But listen, true fact: if the playoffs started today, the Titans would open up at home against the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, how's that turned out in the past?
Not well.
How's the history on
not
that
well.
one?
Not well.
Here.
Hasn't gone well here.
Yeah, no.
It's gone okay up there.
Well,
up there it hasn't been bad.
2 wins. Yeah, that's right.
It hasn't been bad up there. It's been all right up there.
You're right.
It ain't been a nightmare. Down here, it's been a little rough.
It's over.
Yeah, it's over 3 at this point, right?
It could be sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme or any other donut shop.
It's been painful down here. But, that's where we are. So based on that, yes, they get into the playoffs based on nothing more than, or the playoffs. They get into my top 10 because, they didn't lose.
Oh, well, because they didn't lose.
They didn't lose.
Last time I checked,
their body of work is such that they have earned their way into the top 10 despite their bye week. Happens all the time. Why are you pretending like this is a new phenomenon?
Well, I just
like teams in college football don't move up all the time during their bye week.
The Raiders had a bye week too. Apparently you didn't move them up.
Well,
either.
the Raiders are 1-4.
The Texans had a bye week.
The Texans are 1-3.
Okay, the Lions had a bye week. You didn't move them
how many games have the Lions won? Okay, so how are they moving anywhere at 1-4? How's that working?
So I anticipate that the Bills, the Rams, the Vikings, and the Eagles will move up even though the Eagles can't in your rankings because they're all on a bye this week. So you'll be moving them up?
Then it's unlikely the Eagles be moving down. I'll tell you that much.
It's impossible. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't. That's not
think.
my ranking. Well, they're not going to lose this week, so they're undefeated. That means they'll remain undefeated when we do this next week. So that means they'll probably be number one in my book.
Okay. All right, Ray, if you could put my top 10 up.
Yeah, let's see your masterpiece.
Yeah, there we go. There it is. There it is. I've had Buffalo just
you have
to be consistent. I've had them number one the entire time,
boy,
and
look at that.
I'm not going off of that because they just went to Kansas City and they beat the Chiefs. So
That's nice.
Yeah, I'm going to keep them at number one. That makes a lot of sense to me.
That's good.
Philadelphia, I had 2 last week,
Yeah.
and I'm going to keep them at 2.
That's
they
fine.
continue to press. That's a nice win
That's good for them.
over the Cowboys.
Good for them.
I'm not going to get off the Kansas City Chiefs bandwagon because they lost at home to the Bills, which is my number one. The Chiefs are still, I think, in my opinion, the third best team in the league, and so they will remain at 3 even though they had a loss. At number 4, this is where I've
Yeah, come on with him.
I've been very bullheaded on the LA Chargers, and it hasn't been pretty. But they went to Cleveland and they won, and they beat the Broncos. Ugh, Broncos. Ugh. They won.
Yeah,
they won.
They got
so
the
they
W.
keep winning.
So they're 4-2.
So I'm going to have the LA Chargers. I'm going to stay bullish on the Chargers, even though it looks like Justin Herbert's playing a little bit banged up. He doesn't look 100%, but they keep winning games.
They
I
find a
still
way now.
think they're very good.
They find a way.
And so I'm going to keep them
Yeah, we'll see.
at 4. We'll actually move them up a spot to number 4 from last week. Dallas moves up a spot to number 5, even though they lost. But I am going to factor in.
What do you factor
One, they
in?
lost at Philadelphia.
To the Eagles, yes.
Okay, so that's my number 2. That's your number 1.
Yes.
And they're getting Dak Prescott back. I'm not doing that because they're getting back, but I'm just saying that should factor in that they're getting their starting high-paid quarterback back in the fold. So I'm going to say that can only be a good thing, I think. We'll see, but a lot of people could say, well, Cooper Rush.
Okay.
Cooper
Yeah,
Rush
it
won a lot
could,
of games,
it could be worse.
Minnesota
Yes.
moves up 2 spots to number 6.
Mhm.
I'm not in love with them, but they keep winning, so I have to keep rewarding them. There's things about them I like. I obviously like Dalvin Cook. I think Justin Jefferson is one of the best receivers in the league. So there's a lot to like. I got Adam Thielen and then Kirk Cousins is okay.
it's okay.
And games that aren't really
Okay.
on big stages. But, when he gets in those big stages and bright lights, he doesn't exactly do well. But, look, Minnesota keeps winning, so I'm going to put them at 6. I had the New York Giants at 9. I'm going to move them up 2 spots to number 7. They keep winning. I don't know how they're doing it. But look, you beat the Ravens and you beat the Packers in London consecutive weeks. I can't punish you, whether I think you're for real or not, whether I really want to be a huge believer in you is really irrelevant. You keep winning and you just beat the Packers and the Ravens. So
Okay.
I have to push you up. So Minnesota Giants at 7. Baltimore slides down. I've been a big believer in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I'm pushing them. They were 4 last week. I'm pushing them down to 8 because of that loss
To the Giants.
to the Giants on
Yeah,
the road.
To the Giants.
So Baltimore's at 8. Jets at 9.
Yes.
They have yet to crack my top 10, but finally they do. Again, you keep winning. So
Yeah.
I have to reward it. They went to Lambeau. It beat up on Green Bay. So they're 4-2. And Breece Hall, by the way, is starting to turn into a pretty darn good running back in the NFL. He's been very effective, and I think he's just going to keep getting better.
Been very strong.
Zach Wilson is back in the fold. Now he's got several games under his belt. Maybe he can continue to get better. Their defense is good. And so, I'm going to reward them.
And then at number 10.
And then number 10, I pushed this team I had at 7 last week down to 10. It's an awful loss. It's a loss I cannot explain.
Yeah.
I don't know how they went to Pittsburgh and lost to two quarterbacks that they shouldn't lose to
a team you said won't
Because
finish 500 this year.
Pickett got hurt, and then Mitch Trubisky came in. I don't know how Tampa lost to Pittsburgh, but somehow they did. So I pushed them down 3 spots.
Yeah.
Nobody else jumped up. I know that you saw the Titans were really impressive in the bye week.
Oh, yes.
I didn't see the same film that you did on the Titans bye week, how impressive they were.
So the thing I'm trying to figure out.
The 49ers lost a stinker, so I've got to push them out.
You're pushing them out. Okay, so the thing I'm trying to figure out is why you have no respect at all for wins and losses. Like this is this is college football or something.
Well, because I'm not going to do my
what are we
top
talking
10
about?
on. Anybody can sit there and pull up the standings and do a top 10.
Sure.
I'm asking us to actually watch and observe the teams. And actually do our own eyeball test and come up with our top 10. It's not like, hey, let's pull up ESPN.com and look at their records and pick out the 10 best teams.
But of course.
Like, I want us to be objective and say.
So your eyeballs are telling you that the Los Angeles Chargers are better than the Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings and the New York Giants. That's what your eyeballs are telling you.
Yes.
Like
if the Chargers played.
Were you wearing your glasses at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
I was.
And just, because you wore his glasses.
If they played each other, I'm picking the Chargers to win. If they played the Giants, I'm picking the Chargers to win. They have more weapons. By the way,
Giants are a mystery of life. I don't know what the Giants are. I don't know what the Giants are going on. And somehow, when you have mysteries of life like the Giants, sometimes you just have to yield to it. You don't understand it. It's just happening. So here we are with the Giants winning football games. You don't know how they're winning football games. I don't know how they're winning football games.
Had a
but
good year.
Out there just winning football games. So here we are. So this is what we're doing. Because there's a lot of ifs with the Giants. If Bullock makes the field goal, the Titans are 4-2. Not enough, but not that's not the way that happened though. Or 4-1, excuse me. They're 4-1. And the top 10 looks very different.
Yeah, they've only played 5 games.
But he missed the field goal. So here we are. So so you have no respect for the division leading Minnesota Vikings, and instead you think the Chargers and Justin Herbert, who are leaking oil, it seems, and you even said it yourself.
They're not leaking oil.
They're
just not
barely beat the Broncos, who were yuck a few seconds ago.
Agreed.
But now somehow they're just not that good. The Chargers shocks me how high you have the Chargers.
Austin Eckler, and they have Justin Herbert, and they don't have their number one receiver. He's been out for basically the whole season, and Keenan Allen. They've been doing this without their number one receiver.
Like everybody hasn't been dealing with injuries,
and he's going to come back.
And you talked about like injuries are exclusive to them.
Their defense is better. I'm just telling you, they have dudes. They have dudes.
Who else don't have dudes?
They have dudes.
They got dudes. Listen.
And they played.
The Los Angeles Rams won the doggone Super Bowl last year. They don't got some dudes, and we don't see them. We're down on them.
Do you think the Rams look the same?
And they won the title last year. But and listen, no.
Rams
but they have dudes, though. They don't have dudes. Aaron Donald's not a dude.
Okay, the Rams played the Packers in the NFC Championship game, did they not? Or was that the round before that?
I don't remember, but okay.
Okay, the Packers every year, perennial playoff team.
Sure.
And we don't have the Packers or the Rams are the defending Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
And the Packers are always in the playoffs.
What I'm saying is because you're trying to drive me away, and that's not going to work, because I remember what the point was. The point was they have dudes. So you're saying you're saying that the Chargers have dudes.
They have dudes.
And my point is they have dudes, but somehow these other teams who are also, not as well, they don't have dudes. It's the Chargers dudes. It's their turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 4-2. I just want to make sure that you recognize what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to make me face my truth, I'm going to make you face yours. That's how this is going to work.
I just want to.
You're not going to drive me away. Now, you got some experience. You just tried to drive me off the cliff towards another point there to deflect away from the fact that you have a 4-2 team who's second place in their division ahead of all these other people here who are leading their division, would get home playoff games, and the Chargers would get nah.
I just need you to email me during the break the film that you watched on the Titans during the bye week, because I want to see it. I want to learn.
They backed their
what
way
they did.
into the top 10. You've never gone to sleep, woke up, and somebody was the champion? That's never happened? No one's ever gotten the bye week. No one's ever, if I'm not mistaken, and listen, we love the Preds, go Preds. The Preds, did they not make the playoffs after losing the game last year, didn't they clinch after losing?
Yeah,
that happened. Okay, so that happened.
We just said.
So why is this new? Why is this a new phenomenon?
Nashville SC did the same thing. That's what we just
so
talked
why
about.
is this a new phenomenon to you? That somebody could, that somebody could not look well but still advance in life. What happened with that?
I didn't say that the Titans didn't look well. I said they didn't play.
They didn't play.
They didn't do anything.
They didn't play. Hey, listen. Sometimes
they were
sometimes
literally watching the games with us.
Sometimes the buy is your friend. Sometimes not being on the field at all works in your favor.
Okay, I'm just trying to do my own investigating.
That's
we
fine.
spent the
You come on with
entire
it.
day on Monday at Nissan Stadium.
We
doing
did. We were
reporting.
there. We were out there
and
talking
then
to
they
people.
mysteriously 2 days later pop into your top 10. And I'm just trying to get down to the bottom of this, investigate a little bit.
The way you get down to the bottom of it is you look at the top of the AFC South standings. See, you're starting at the bottom. That's the problem. You look at the top of the AFC South, you'll see why they could be there. Because there's only 8 divisions in all of football, and they have 8 leaders, and somehow you don't think that one of the division leaders deserves to be in your top 10.
Well, I don't remember, because I watched a lot of your stand-ups, I don't remember you ever referring to them as a top 10 team in the NFL during your report.
That's because that's in the journalistic world. We don't do that over there. This is sports talk world, so we do that here.
Okay, different hat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not.
Fair enough.
It's not college football. You don't have to. We do the top 10 for us.
Okay. That was fun. But we have to step away.
Do we?
Yeah, we do.
Just roll one. Just bring them in already. Just he's on hold, right? Just bring them on. No, we have to do. Let's pay the bills.
All right,
pay the bills.
We'll come back. More of the McFarland Show next here on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-785-9132. That's 800-785-9132. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-785-9132.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Austin Hardy is your go-to agent in the Middle Tennessee community for the service you desire at the price you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Austin Hardy has you covered. Call 615-810-9999 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Tired of the same old company holiday party and looking to reward your team with a fun night out? What about something different for a birthday party or group gathering? Hello, this is Philip Cox of Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers, and we specialize in group events no matter the size at our Tusculum, Donaldson, Hermitage, Murfreesboro, and Hendersonville locations. Plus, Hendersonville and Murfreesboro offer enhanced entertainment options with bumper cars, laser tag, roller skating, and more. 'Tis the season to have fun with family, friends, and business associates, and there's no better place to do it than at Strike and Spare Family and Fun Center. Visit strikeandspare.com to learn about the group outing option. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
It's a Bill King Show.
Lane Kiffin. Let me get this straight. Bill, smooth talking James Franklin just lost a quarterback recruit to Sun Belt Billy. Put him on the hot seat, Bill. The only thing James Franklin is good at is working the coaching carousel for a raise each year. He's really good at that. He's very, very good.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
I was so inspired by that top 10 last segment.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a top 10 in the NHL.
I'm not ready.
No?
I'm not ready yet. My knowledge has not gotten to that level yet.
We'll keep working on that. All right. That's good.
But get back to me. Listen, I'm willing to admit.
I know.
I'm willing to admit.
Well, we're only in week 3 of the show, so we're good.
Yeah.
Back here on the McFarland Show, Darren and Justin here with you. Let's talk a little Preds. Alex Doherty is on the line with us. Preds writer for A to Z Sports. He was at the game last night. I said, Alex, at the beginning of the show, not all wins are created equally, and not all losses are created equally. Sometimes you take a point and you run out of the building as fast as you can, and you're super excited. Other times you take your point and you walk out kind of moping, and your shoulders slump a little bit, and that kind of felt like that point last night against L.A. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I would say I would go even further and say that they weren't just moping after the game. They were pretty mad. I mean, the players in that locker room, John Hines, they were all pretty angry about that. They know that they let that second point they just gave it to the Kings. I mean, up 3-1 in the third period, and they just kept taking penalties, kept making bad mistakes, and then even in the overtime. First of all, no disrespect to Matt Roy, but that guy.
Go on and now nail him.
That guy went into this. That guy went into last night with 11 career goals in over 200 games.
Yeah,
and he scored twice.
Yeah,
jeez.
So, so when Matt Roy is the guy that's leading the comeback, you're kind of handing it to them. So that's part of it. And then in overtime, they have the penalty. Drew Doughty gets the penalty call, and how many chances were right there? They had grade A chances. Credit to the Kings defense for a lot of key blocks, and Cal Peterson played really well in net when he needed to. But yeah, I would say that they were definitely angry after the game last night. They all seemed pretty mad at themselves for blowing that game.
Just so you know, Alex, if you start with bless their heart, you can say whatever afterwards. If you start with, no disrespect, you can say whatever you want afterwards. So that you did the right
because
thing
you
with
meant
Matt Roy.
no disrespect.
In other words, you say that about Matt Roy, then beat him over the head with a club. It's okay. And then
Because you meant no disrespect.
Yeah. But I'm in agreements,
exactly.
total agreements with you. But so you tell us, you tell our listeners. I felt like the two games against Dallas, they just weren't the better team. Unfortunately, it happens through the course of a season. They weren't the better team, but last night I thought they came out with the juice, the jam, the jump, whatever you want to call it. I thought they were inspired. I thought they were into it. I thought they grabbed the lead with Cody Glass, and we'll get into Cody Glass here in a bit. And I thought they were playing the game they needed to play to win. And then they're, like you said, they're in control. They're up 2 goals in the third period, and then what happens? How did we get to that point where I felt like overall they were playing inspired hockey? I know you're going to touch on the penalties because that was a massive problem, but was that just really the answer? Just too many penalties to kill off?
Yeah, the problem with penalties is it disrupts the momentum that you're talking about. They did have the momentum, and they didn't have a penalty to kill off until the 10-minute mark of the first period. Well, the first 10 minutes of the game, I thought the Predators were the better team, and it looked like they were just going to roll all over the Kings. And then Dante Fabro gets an interference call, and they have to kill that off. And then late in the period, Cole Smith gets one. Early in the second, Roman Yossi's in the box. And then Matt Duchene, and then Cole Smith again, and then Lozon. So I think it has to do with it's not just about having to kill a penalty. It's about what you've done to kind of kill your momentum. And I think that really is part of it. The other thing is you saw early in the game last night, finally the Duchene, Granlund, Forsberg line after the first 4 games of this season where they basically did nothing were electric. That was the line from last year that we saw score 2 40-goal scorers on the same line. So they finally got it going, and they had to be even better because I think the Johansson and Niederreiter line that's been great didn't have a fantastic game last night, and then still the defense just really trying to work out how they're gonna roll this year with Ekholm on the other side and McDonough in a new jersey. And I just don't know that the defense has really worked itself out. So all that stuff combined, I do think that the penalties were a huge, huge part of it.
So I will also say this, like I said about the losses, or all points are not created equally. All penalties are not created equally. Sometimes you can take penalties and coaches won't have a problem with it, right? Fans, media, they won't have a problem with that. That's a good penalty. Sometimes you got to do that, or you got to take up for your teammate, or what have you. Or look, that particular play, you'll take that, especially if it's going to lead to a breakaway. But I don't think their penalties are exactly some great penalties. They're taking. You also hear the phrase, they take a lot of dumb penalties, and I think right now they're skewing more into the dumb penalty category than not. Agree or disagree?
I would definitely agree, because it's a lot of stick fouls. It's a lot of stick fouls when they're getting beat, and then they're trying to reach back and try to gain an advantage when they're already beat. Matt Duchene had 2 of those last night. I mean, 2 bad penalties from Matt Duchene, especially the first one in the second period, where the guy picked his pocket and he tried to get it back, and he just outright tripped the guy. And then the other thing is, who is taking the penalties? So Jeremy Lauzon and Cole Smith each have 2 penalties. That's 4 penalties from 2 guys that really don't play a lot of minutes, and most of their minutes were spent in the penalty box last night. So that's not good either. I mean, people have talked about, who needs to be in this roster right now. I'm not seeing why Cole Smith really needs to be in there. I mean, if he's going to be taking penalties and really not contributing much, outside of a nice hit here or there. That guy is only really hurting more than helping. Lauzon, they've hitched their wagon to Lauzon for the next 4 years. They got to put him out there. I mean, Borowiecki was out with an illness, so I don't think I think they have to go with him. But there's some other decisions they've made with the lineup that they're kind of reaping what they sow with a guy like Cole Smith out there. So it's not just what kind of penalty, but who's taking them. I mean, Roman Yossi's penalty, I'll give him. That was a pretty weak call. It looked like he didn't even really make contact. That was a pretty weak call. But the rest of them, it's just you just can't, inexcusable. You can't do that. Not 8 penalties in the game. Sorry, 8 penalty kills in the game. That's the 6th time in franchise history they've had 8 or more penalty kills in a game. And by the way, they're 1-5 in those games now. So 5 losses out of 6 times.
Yeah, that's typically going to result in a loss. We're speaking with Alex Doherty, Preds writer for A to Z Sports. You brought up Cole Smith. A lot of people were surprised that Tomasino was sent down. Put me in that category. Is it still a little bit surprising, perplexing that Tomasino, who basically played last season, his rookie year, because he's a guy that would probably be in that spot right now. So where do you think that's going? And look, some of the names, we've already seen kind of Sherwood already be, these stories, sometimes they don't last very long. And I know the roster, coaches make changes all the time, especially when things aren't going your way. But what do you make of that 4th line right now? Let's also hit on Cody Glass, right? I mean, what a story. I'm rooting for him. I really like him. And I'm glad to see that he's playing well. What do you think right now of the makeup of the 4th line?
The confusing part about the Cody Glass and Tomasino situation, as it pertains to the 4th line, is the sort of disconnect between what they've said about Tomasino and where they see him, and what they think about Cody Glass. So they said the reason they sent down Tomasino were 2 things. Number one, I think it's pretty clear he did not have a good training camp. He got beat in training camp by Sherwood specifically. So he didn't have a good training camp. And then they sort of say this line, John Hines had this long explanation about, we see him as a top 6 forward, but he doesn't have a spot in the top 6 in Nashville, so we're going to put him with some skilled players in Milwaukee in a top 6 role. Okay, fine. Well, what do they see with Cody Glass then? Is Cody Glass not a top 6, ceiling guy? I mean, because they just stuck him on the 4th line with Cole Smith and Zach Sanford. So what they don't see the same thing with him. To me, it would make sense. Hey, why not pair those guys together? Because they seem to be, pretty skilled players, Glass and Tomasino. Just put them out there. You don't need a 4th line that just gets crushed every time they go out there. Why not try to have a 4th line that has some skill? So none of that part of the game really makes a lot of sense. And it seems silly to just talk about the 4th line all night, but when it continues to result in penalties and issues and goals allowed, it seems like they need to really figure that out, and pretty quickly too.
Question about the pairing there, Forsberg and Duchene. Obviously, you said yourself the back-to-back 2 40-goal scorers there on the same team last year on the same line. In other sports, we will be afraid of a drop-off. Derrick Henry runs for 2,000 yards. Surely he can't do this again, because, that's historic. how afraid or how concerned are people about a possible drop-off in production after such great and really historic years last year by the two main goal scorers there for the Preds?
I think some people are concerned. I think he's not going to hit 43, but I think 30 would be a pretty reasonable number. I mean, that's kind of more like his ceiling anyways. The issue with Duchesne when he first got here in 2019 was, I mean, outside of everything shutting down at the end of that season, was he was not playing with line mates that made any sense. He was playing with Calle Yarncroke and Brad Richardson, and occasionally he got there with Forsberg. But once he got on a line with actual, sort of matched skill levels, he took off. And so as long as Forsberg and Duchesne and Granlund are together, that line's going to be capable of having at least one 30 to 40 goal scorer on the line. He shot a little bit above his career average last year, but I think still he had such bad puck luck when he first got here that I think it kind of averages out. So he'll get 250 shots and probably turn that into 30 goals this year. I think people wouldn't be too disappointed with that. I mean, $8.5 million a year, or eight, I guess it is. That's not terrible considering where we are with the cap and everything in the NHL right now.
Puck luck. I can't say I've heard that a whole lot, but I like that. I like that. Let me ask about the goaltending here for UC Soros. Obviously, that I don't think anyone's questioning his ability. I'm just saying through the very small sample size that we have seen through 4 games here, everything is slightly up. Is it a settling in period for him just to finally kind of get locked in? How does that go? And I'm really more asking for somebody who is a casual Predators fan like myself, who doesn't start really getting into it sometimes until after the football season kind of winds up, and then you start peeking in and you go, oh, the Predators are doing really well. How's everybody going? You understand what I'm getting at? It's is this normal where you get a little bit of a slower start and then there's a settling in period for UC?
It is normal because
okay.
I'm glad you brought this up. I would actually look this up today because I was curious about it. So UC Soros notoriously is a slow starter. You brought up the Derrick Henry comparison earlier. I'll go ahead and go to that.
Yes, sir.
Derrick Henry has all those stats about in September and October he's so-so, but then when November and December hit, he just goes off, right? I mean, he's sort of that second half. He's also a second half player, right? In the second half of all those games, he's had all the starts.
Mm-hmm. Gets stronger as the game goes on. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So similar with UC Soros. So in his entire career, games 1 through 10, so first 10 games of each Pred season, he's got around a .903 save percentage. So that's like kind of league average or below it. In games 11 through 82, so the rest of the season, it's like 20 points higher, .922 save percentage. That's like, pushing towards Vezina level. So, yes, the first 10 games, he always struggles. It is a common thing. I think this is kind of typical for him. He has usually a lot more quality starts. He has better, more consistent play as the season goes on. Not really sure why that is. Just some players, that's just kind of how it happens. So I would say that no one is really blaming UC Soros for the struggles early on, but it is a factor. I mean, you can't ignore it as a factor that your sort of all-star level goalie is not saving your behind every game. Eventually, he will be, and when that happens, they're gonna turn in some wins. So. Yes, it's a pretty typical slow start for UC Soros.
It would seem the team is in, and I'm going to call it a funk, is what I'm going to call it. And when you can't get a win in North America, which the Predators have not gotten here so far this year, are they going to start gripping a little bit hard? Because that's the tendency is, you don't sometimes, well, it depends on who you are. Some teams relax and say, oh, it'll come, but don't worry about it. Other teams may, we need to grind harder. We need to hit it harder. We got to start getting some wins here before this gets, before this becomes a trend. Which way are the Predators more likely to go as far as their approach here to this losing streak?
Well, they'll tell you that they have no problem just getting back into their identity and the chemistry that they built. I think that there's some players in that locker room that have done this so many times. I mean, I'm thinking of like Ekholm, McDonough, of course, Yossi, Duchesne. I mean, maybe even Forsberg at this point. That are just like this is kind of just like not even really an issue. Like this is just we're going to be fine. Like we'll build towards it. We'll be fine by November. By Thanksgiving, we're going to be rolling and we'll be fine. But then, some younger guys that maybe don't have as much of a grip on, where they fit in this locker room, even like a Dante Fabro, Alex Carrier, and definitely the younger guys, Cody Glass, Ellie Tolvanen, Tanner Jeannot, Jakob Trennan, like these guys, are they going to respond in the same way? Are they going to think, oh, I'm in panic mode. I've got to change something. I've got to get a new cut on my skates because I need to change the way I'm skating. I need to revisit the stick store and get a new stick. I've got to fix something. But it's not really that. I think they're going to be fine.
We will find out. They'll get another crack at it tomorrow night in Columbus against the Blue Jackets. Alex, appreciate the visit. We'll do it again. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, sir.
Definitely. Thank you, Darren, and I appreciate you having me on. Listen, I just want to say real quick, I'm a lifelong Nashville native.
Hey, man.
I've listened to you, Darren, for 20 years. It's a pleasure is all mine to be on the show with you. I really appreciate you having me on.
Well, thank you, Alex.
Wow.
Really appreciate it.
That is cool.
You'll be on tomorrow, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. Talk to you later. Bye.
Alex Doherty. There you go. A to Z Sports. Did a really good job. That was really good.
That absolutely was really good. Yeah.
And we will have him on a lot more for sure. He did just age me, but hey, it's true.
Listen,
what he said is true. I've
this
been
is
here,
who we
been
are,
here for a
though,
long
man.
time. You're right.
You can't run away from it after a while.
I know. You're right. All right, we'll come back. More of the McFarland. The veteran? What was the words we came up with?
The veterans or veterans?
The veterans. The
veterans. The veterans.
What was the other words you were using?
Experience.
Experienced.
Wisdom.
The experienced McFarland Show. We'll be back with more next.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Hey Nashville, Ray here. Many of us suffer with anxiety when going to the dentist. You guys need to go check out my amazing friends over at Bite Dentistry. Bite Dentistry is where my family goes for all our dental care. Their mission is to help patients breathe better, smile bigger, and live longer by offering a comprehensive selection of services and total dental care for every member of your family. Bite Dentistry is the only dentist in town trained and certified to offer the Vivos method that helps with people who grind their teeth at night or snore that causes sleep apnea. What's great about the Vivos methods is that it's provided for both kids and adults. They also work with a company called Guard Lab, which creates custom mouth guards, which are the same mouth guards used by professional football players. Located at 3212 West End Avenue, Suite 301, Nashville, you can set up an appointment by calling them at 615-866-2129. That's 615-866-2129, and follow them on social media and online at bitedds.com. Again, that's bitedds.com.
You have a 90% chance of surviving a lightning strike. You have a 98% chance of surviving a shark attack. You have a 99% chance of surviving a snake bite. But you only have a 50% chance of surviving a crash if you aren't wearing a seatbelt. Your truck may be tough, but a seatbelt makes it tougher. Buckle up in your truck. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Are you needing something to do on October 27th? Then come hang out at T-Line Nashville. Hey guys, it's Zach from the Afternoon Stretch. Come join Bruno Reagan and myself at T-Line Nashville, 106 Duluth Avenue here in Nashville. Plenty of delicious food, great atmosphere. It's a great time at T-Line. And after the show, you can stay around and watch football right there at T-Line Nashville. It all happens October 27th, 4 to 6 p.m. Come hang out with us once again, 106 Duluth Avenue in Nashville for the Afternoon Stretch.
I get excited when we talk Preds. Because one, it elicits phone calls. People get excited too when we talk Preds here on the show. But Justin is really getting into this, and I that gets me pumped because I like your enthusiasm. I like how you know. It's like, all right, you're trying to.
I'm trying to understand. There's a lack of, and which sounds weird to say because the Predators have been here since '98. So there shouldn't be that deep of, but obviously, you know, they've been around, but it doesn't mean you've been plugged all the way in with them sometimes. And so there's a learning curve, I understand, with the Predators. And I think a lot of people are in the same situation. You know, people love the Predators. The Predators are, the attendance has been great. People are into it. The flags are out. People wear the sweatshirts and the hats. I mean, they're a thing. But there's also this thing called football that is happening at the beginning of their season every single year that takes up a ton of oxygen. So sometimes people are just not as into them at the beginning of the year as they will be as we start approaching, the new year and into the spring, obviously.
Let's go to our Cure Hotline. Nate is down in Columbia. What's up?
What's up, guys? Unfortunately, I've got a head cold, and I've had it since about Monday. So I'm supposed to go on a trip. Yeah, I'm supposed to go on a trip this weekend. So we had to try and sell our tickets to last night's game. Yeah, and I fell asleep before the game was over, and it seems like I missed a pretty good game that I'm glad I missed. By the way, guys, go Big Orange.
Seems to be a popular saying these days.
Yes.
Yeah, apparently TikTok is trying to convert everybody into Big Orange fans. That's what my wife sent me that.
Well,
video.
in all seriousness, how about them singing Rocky Top last night in the building, and it led to I think it was the Tanner Jeannot goal right afterwards?
Yeah.
In fact, we should have brought that up with Alex.
How freaky is that?
I mean, they're like belting out Rocky Top in Bridgestone Arena, and then Tanner Jeannot scores right afterwards.
That's crazy.
Yeah, unfortunately, I missed that, but yeah, hope we can pull together a couple wins here soon.
Yeah, they need to get back on track. Look, Nate, you've heard this over the years, and I know some people don't want to hear it, but it's just a reality. We're going to still talk about it because it's a long season. You can't just wait till the end and then assess. You still have to talk about things. But it's 5 games of an 82-game season. It's a long grind. And so you have to keep that in perspective. And this is a 3-game stretch or patch that, hasn't been very good, but it's 3 games. But they got a point last night. It wasn't a welcomed point because it should have been 2. But, man, you turn it around quickly. You go in Columbus, and away you go, and you string together 4 wins, and then everybody changes everything you feel. And then the mentality a week later is completely different, and then they drop 2 in a row, and it's back to it's just
it's this
is how it works. It's a yo-yo. It's a ride.
Nate, how long have you been following the Predators? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, so my dad took me to my first hockey game ever when I was in college. I think that was 2011, 2012.
Okay.
And then I decided to get a partial season tickets during the Cup run, and it was kind of funny because I was kind of new into the living on my own, making my own money kind of world.
Been there, I understand.
And so that was when the Blackhawks were just all over us that years previous, and so I was hesitant to get tickets to the playoffs, but I'm so glad I got them that year.
So my question for you, Nate, here is: where are you as far as hunger for this Stanley Cup? Because the team's been here 25 years. Darren and I have talked about this. The team has been here close to 25 years. The Titans have been here close to 25 years. And there's no actual championship banner. We've got a couple of conference championships, one over at Nissan, the other one over at Bridgestone. It looks nice. We remember it's warm and fuzzy, but there's no actual banner up there for either one of these franchises yet.
No parade.
Well, yes, we did have a parade. Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
1999.
We sure did have a parade.
Well, it was 2000, right?
2000 at that point. Yes, we did. But Nate, I'm just asking for you, sir. How are you frustrated? Are you hopeful? Where are you at as a Predators fan?
Well, first off, we have a parade every weekend downtown. I don't know what you're talking about. Bunch of drunk out in the towners. I mean, I would love to see them win a cup soon. I just don't know if it's going to happen. I mean, you know, as a fan, you're always hopeful, but you also have to try and be realistic. That's sometimes hard, just because you're looking through the gold or blue or whatever colored glasses. But, you know, it's been 5 years since we have won a playoff series. And that kind of, you know, puts you down a little bit, saying, oh, so it's probably not going to happen for a while. But, I mean, you know, you always got to be hungry as a fan.
I haven't looked at it that way. Thank you, Nate. We appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Nate. Yeah, y'all have a great day.
You too, sir.
We'll step away, come back, wrap up Wednesday's edition of the McFarland Show next.
You know, now's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today to get started with $150 free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Sign up with the promo code GregP. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props. You can combine all of those across a variety of platforms with same-game parlays for a bigger payout. Live betting, you see a trend, something that's going on in a game, you can get updated odds on games that have already started and get you paid your winnings fast. All that on the app that's saved by using the promo code GregP. All that on the app. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose. Promo code GregP. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You got to be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued. Non-withdrawable. Free bets that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Hey Nashville, Ray here from Run With It. Let me tell you about our sponsor, Boom Boss Craft Pizza and Tap House. And with 4 locations in Bellevue, Murfreesboro, Spring Hill, and East Nashville, they're your home for the best gourmet pizza and craft beers in Music City. Join me on Monday nights at the East Nashville location for poker night. And if you think you know everything, try Wednesday night trivia at both locations. Gourmet pizzas, craft beers, online at BoomBozz.com. Boom Boss Craft Pizza and Tap House.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Tony, how you doing, buddy?
Good afternoon, guys. I tell you what, listening to Zach and Bruno and Ray talk, it's just awesome. And I just wanted to give a shout out to y'all.
Hey, Tony, I appreciate that, man. You might have just made a promo for us.
I'm the best.
Bruno is the best. Yes, Bruno is the best.
That ruins the promo.
The afternoon stretch. The afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Padres, Phillies, right now, game 2, no score in the second inning. Pretty sad news coming out of Starkville, Mississippi.
Yeah.
A freshman football player for Mississippi State, 18 years of age, has died. And I'm trying to, is an offensive lineman. And I'm trying to get any deets. This is all just coming out.
Yeah.
His name was Sam Westmoreland.
It's always sad when these situations happen, obviously, and thoughts and prayers out to the family and everybody involved with Mississippi State. No one likes to see these young men lose their life, obviously. And I hope we find out more about the circumstances surrounding his death.
Yeah, so really sad news around the Mississippi State football program. Sam Westmoreland, dead at 18. Man, that's
God,
horrible.
help us.
Horrible.
Mercy.
Offensive lineman.
Yeah.
No details yet, like I said, just coming out. So it's a fun show.
Other than that, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough note to
it's
end
a hard,
on, but
well,
yeah.
that's a hard segue to come out of.
No, that's tough. But
just wanted to pass it along.
It was
thoughts to their family.
Absolutely, it was a very interesting show, and it will continue to do that as we move forward here as we start the football weekend tomorrow with NFL and college football action, and of course the Major League Baseball playoffs continue on Fox 17. By the way,
yes, get that in there, Justin.
Slide
well
that
done.
in.
That will do it for us today. Enjoy the rest of your cold Wednesday. By the way, it'll be another cold one again tonight.
Yeah, it's called October,
but it's probably going to be a dry cold. So just keep that in mind. Stay tuned. Afternoon Stretch is next.